World Diabetes Day is marked on November 14 every year. It was first adopted in 1991 by the International Diabetes Foundation and the World Health Organization. Diabetes is the main cause of blindness, kidney failure, heart attack, stroke, and lower limb amputation. Globally, an estimated 422 million adults were living with diabetes in 2014. India ranks second after China in the global diabetes epidemic, with 77 million people with diabetes expected to reach 100 million by 2030. Presently, India contributes to 1 in 6 adults with diabetes in the world. In 2019, diabetes and kidney disease due to diabetes caused an estimated 2 million deaths. In this respect, Withstand Fitness is here to spread awareness about diabetes. Therefore, we have invited Dr. Sanjeev Maskara along with my colleague Mr. Rohit Ghadge to discuss about diabetes. Dr. Sanjeev Maskara was born and brought up in Begulsarai in Bihar. He did his MBBS in 1990 from CMC Vellore. He came to UK in 2003 for higher medical training. He is a family physician and has been practicing in UK since then. He has many scientific papers in his name and he enjoys teaching to students and junior doctors. Welcome, sir, to our show and thank you for being with us. So, sir, data speaks a lot. In a span of 24 years, the number of diabetes has increased 4 times. So, what do you think is the main cause of rise of diabetes in the past few years?
First, thanks Rohit and Swagatika for organizing this talk. So, as you know, that due to the industrial revolution and urbanization and people are becoming more and more inactive. So, physical inactivity one of the main reason for people to become more of bed bound or more of coach bound. People, you don't do much physical activity, you are just sitting, and due to technological advancement, you don't exercise more. So that leads to the physical inactivity, and that leads to rise in type 2 diabetes, which is also called adult onset diabetes. आदमी एक्सरसाइज नहीं करते हैं and there is an organ called pancreas. Pancreas जो है वो शुगर रिलीज करता है. तो आप जब when you don't exercise, then you put on weight, extra weight. When you put on extra weight, then pancreas the sugar, the insulin secretion is decreased, and then you have more sugar. So that's probably the main reason for increase in the diabetes in recent years.
सर, लोगों को ये लगता है कि eating lot of sugar cause diabetes. तो इसके बारे में आप थोड़ा सा briefly बताइए.
I think it's a more of a myth. But the research has shown that sugar doesn't directly cause type 2 diabetes. You are more likely to cause diabetes if you are overweight or obese. So what happens is, if you gain weight, you take more calorie than your body needs. And if you take more sugary drinks, you take lots of food containing lots of sugar. Okay, so what will happen is you will put weight. When you put on weight, then the pancreas, which secretes insulin, it will not do the job. So you'll have more sugar in the body. So then you have more tendency to develop diabetes. So it's not directly linked to sugar causing diabetes. No, that's not correct. But if you don't look after yourself and you have extra calories, then you are at high risk of developing diabetes. So it's indirectly related, not directly related. Okay. So give you context. So if I'm a normal person, I hope I'm normal, and if I'm doing exercise and I don't have family history of diabetes, I'm not a diabetic. If I take 1 or 2 spoons of sugar, that's fine. I'm not going to develop diabetes. I eat 1 or 2 sweets, it will be fine. But if I keep eating sweets, I have a family history of diabetes, my sugars are borderline, then that is a killing for me. And if I don't exercise, then I am bound to develop diabetes. So then what I need to do? I need to cut down sugar, start doing some exercises, and keep checking my blood sugar regularly so that I'm not falling into the diabetic categories. So it's not directly, it's indirectly related to diabetes.
So, sir, there are so many people who are confused between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So, can you share more insights about what are the key differences between these two diabetes?
Okay, so that's a very good question. So there are two types, traditionally there are two types of diabetes, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is called insulin dependent diabetes. Most of the, if you look at the term insulin dependent, meaning people who need insulin, called type 1. Type 2 is called non-insulin dependent diabetes. But nowadays, in very later stage in life of type 2, you might need insulin. That's called insulin requiring diabetes. So let's talk about type 2 diabetes, which is very common. Type 2 diabetes is also called adult onset diabetes. So it comes very late in life, then come very early. Okay, it doesn't need most of the time, it doesn't require insulin. Okay, and most of the time you will not know you have type 2 diabetes unless you check it. Okay, so the and symptom meaning lakshan जो है they're similar to type 1 and type 2. You have excessive thirst, you pass urine excessively. Okay, you start losing weight. Okay, so these are the three polyuria, polydipsia, and polyphagia, and you feel hungry all the time. Okay, these are the symptoms. Type 2 diabetes is very common and it's mainly due to the physical inactivity. You are eating quite a lot, and then you are putting on weight, you are getting obese, and then that can lead to type 2 diabetes. And it comes later in life. So it's more of a environmental, because you're not looking after yourself. Type 1 diabetes comes early on. It's more of a familial. You might have a family history, genetic. They don't know what causes type 1. But type 1 comes early in life and genetic, and you need insulin to treat the type 1 diabetes. These are the main thing. Type 2 diabetes, you need mainly lifestyle, controlling your diet, exercise. All this will have type 1, and tablet, and very rarely you need it.
Is having borderline diabetes worrisome?
So borderline diabetes is a very good question. It's called pre-diabetes. Okay, so pre-diabetes is borderline diabetes. Okay, pre-diabetes meaning you're not diabetic yet, but you can develop. So if you take 100 people, okay, 100 normal people, you check their sugar, okay, and if 5 people have pre-diabetes and you don't look after yourself, then that can convert into diabetes. So 5% of pre-diabetes in a year can convert into diabetic. Okay? So how do you avoid that? It is worrisome. So you don't look after it. So before I joined your exercise classes, actually, and I do, being a doctor, I do check my blood regularly. So the cutoff for pre-diabetes in India, in UK, so in UK up to HbA1c. HbA1c is one of the blood tests, or you can say blood sugar level 100, the cutoff. Okay, and 100 to 110 or 120 is called pre-diabetes, and more than 120 will be diabetes. But there is another blood sugar test we do here in UK called HbA1c. HbA1c up to 41 is normal, 42 to 47 is pre-diabetes, and 48 is diabetes by definition, WHO, HbA1c. And that tells you about the 3 months of sugar control. Okay, so that is more specific test. We don't do random blood sugar or fasting sugar now in UK. We go for HbA1c, which is more. So I was telling you about my experience being a doctor, and after age of 40, you need to have a regular health check in UK every year. You check your cholesterol, thyroid, sugar. So I checked my sugar, and that was 2 years ago, and I was horrified and alarmed because I don't have any family history of diabetes. That's what I'm fit and well. I don't take any medication, and mine was 42. So I was really alarmed. So I joined your classes, and then I reduced some weight, and now my HbA1c is 38, 39. So if I didn't do anything, that 42 would have become 48. So if 5% of the people who are borderline diabetes will become diabetic in a year time if you don't do anything. So it is worrisome if you don't do anything. But you can revert yourself to a normal person to do some exercise, reduce your diet, look it into what you're eating, reduce your sugary content, and do some exercise. So it is worrisome if you don't do anything. But nothing to worry if you start exercising, look after yourself, make some lifestyle change.
नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, वेरी कॉमन है और जिससे ज़्यादा लोग वरीड होते हैं. सो बहुत से लोगों को लगता है कि इफ माई पेरेंट्स हैव डायबिटीज, डज दैट मीन दैट आई माइट ऑल्सो एंड अप विद डायबिटीज? तो जी जेनेटिक रिगार्डिंग क्वेश्चन है.
Yes, sir, that's a very good question. a very important question. Yes. So if you have a family history of diabetes, your parents are diabetic, your siblings are diabetic, there's a good chance that you will develop diabetes. Okay. That's why it's very important that you be vigilant about it. Continue to exercise, have lifestyle modification, and continue keep at least in a year you should check your sugar. Yes, there's a good chance you will develop. It's not that you will develop, but there's a good chance you can develop.
So sir, is it possible कि हम बिना मेडिसिन लिए डायबिटीज से फाइट कर सकते हैं? और क्या हम T2 डायबिटीज जो होता है, हम बिना कोई ड्रग्स लिए क्या हम इससे बच सकते हैं?
We can do it again. I think the whole the discussion, whole crux of this panel discussion, the webinar is how to fight with diabetes. And then, as I said in the beginning, putting the context here that with urbanization and digitalization, we are more technology friendly, and we are losing our wellness in the form that we don't walk, we don't exercise, we are all the time sitting on the chair, we are all the time sitting on the computer. So we are not burning the calorie, we are consuming it. So it's very important to see what you're eating, okay? And it's very important we make sure that we do some exercise, okay? And also important after the age of 40, okay, that we have health check, okay? Check your sugar, cholesterol, thyroid, have a basic health check, okay? So to make sure that you're on the right path. So it's very, very important. So now the next question you asked was without medication. Yes, we can fight type 2 diabetes without medication. You can reverse it if you exercise regularly, if you reduce your weight, and then and keep checking it. But if you find that if you have diabetes, your cutoff is higher than what it should be, and it falls into diabetic range, then you start on the medication and do everything else. And then really, if you do really drastically reduce your weight, you will not need medication. But that doesn't happen in many, and that's not commonly seen. But it is doable. I've seen some of the people who are really motivated, they reduce 10-20 kg, and then no diabetes. Like I told you, me, myself, my wife, both only once we were detected with pre-diabetes, and we are all fine now. So it is doable. So diet, exercise, losing weight, regular check of your blood sugar is mandatory to reverse it. Some of the newer advances is if you are on medication and if you're obese, that's why you're on medication most probably, or you have a family history of diabetes, the people do obesity operations, okay, like gastric banding and gastric surgery, where they reduce the size of the stomach, and then you don't feel hungry. Those things can be done to reverse the diabetes. But I think we won't go there. I think the basic thing, exercise, eat healthy, lose weight, that and regular blood check.
मतलब नेचुरली हम जितना खुद को इम्प्रूव कर सकते हैं डाइट एक्सरसाइज से हम रिवर्स कर सकते हैं इसको. So is there any specific age in which we may get diabetes? या कुछ ऐसे स्पेसिफिक एज कैटेगरीज है जिसमें ज़्यादा चांसेस होते हैं आपको डायबिटीज होने के? क्योंकि मेरा एक पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस है, मैं आजकल कुछ यंग लोगों को भी डायबिटीज होते हुए देख रहा हूँ, तो इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा आप ब्रीफली बताइए.
Very good question. So as I mentioned earlier, so type 2 diabetes called adult onset diabetes, okay? So that can start when I was a medical student, that was 20 years ago, 5 years ago. That time it used to be said 40, above the age of 40, okay? The type 2 diabetes come. But now we can see type 2 diabetes early on. Now they have moved it to 25, okay? From the age of 25, you can see. But I think 25 is the time when people are really busy with their career and they are very active. Once they settle in the career around 30-35, 40 the time people settle their home and they become a bit sedentary. Okay? I will still say in the UK we offer free health check for everyone above the age of 40. Okay? So 40 is the cutoff where you can get diabetes at any age. And type 1 diabetes come very early on because it's more genetic, okay? More familial. Type 1 comes early, but type 2 is more of an environmental. Type 2 is more of what you do, okay? So 40, I would say, if you are well, you don't have a family history, you must get blood checked at least at the age of 35, 40, the cutoff in UK. You know whether you have diabetes or not. So as I said, three things: polyphagia, you feel hungry all the time; polydipsia, you drink lots of water; and polyuria, you pass water all the time. There are three things, three triad we call it medicine. Fourth one is you feel tired all the time. Fifth one is if you have any cut or any wound, it takes long to heal. Okay, so these are the five cardinal symptoms. लक्षण है जो कि will hint that you might have diabetes. Okay, and then family history, and if you have checked blood before, all this will help. Okay, but these are the five things. If you have delayed wound healing, if you have any family history of diabetes, if you have feel hungry all the time, if you pass urine all the time, and you eat all the time. Okay, so these are things should make you worry that you have diabetes. And family history, if you have family history, then I would say maybe instead of 40, get the blood test done to 30. Okay, just once in a year, make sure you are not going towards that. And physical, check your weight regularly, very common. The BMI less than 25. 25 to 30 is borderline, and 30 is obese. So if you are going, your BMI is going more than 25, then that should also ring bell, and you should check your sugar.
Sir, how can we monitor diabetes and stay assured that the diabetes is under control?
Sure. So when, as again, 20-25 years ago, when I was a medical student, that time we used to check fasting sugar and 2 hours after fasting, PP, postprandial. Okay, fasting and PP. But now they find that fasting sugar is not that accurate. We can still do it, but we are moving away from there. There's another test called HbA1c. Okay, glycosylated hemoglobin. So that this blood test will tell you your average sugar control over 3 months. Okay? It is supposed to be more sensitive and more specific to diagnose diabetes and monitor it. Okay, so what you do in this, you don't even need to fast. Okay, this sugar, and the cutoff in UK, the unit are different from what they use in India. India medical science, they use more of American guidelines, American unit. But UK and America, they're different. I'll talk to you about both. So in India, they use milligram percent, okay? Or they will use, they will say 5.7, HbA1c 5.7%, okay? So HbA1c is 5.7. If it's less than 5.7, it's normal. 5.7 to 6 is borderline. More than 6 is diabetes, okay? And then fasting sugar will differ from each geography, each lab. The average cutoff will be 100 to 120. Anything below 100 is normal, 100 to 120 will be borderline, more than 120 will be probably your diabetic. Okay, so this is the blood test you do. Okay, HbA1c in UK 48 is the cutoff. More than 48 is diabetic. Less than 40, from 42 to 47 is borderline. Less than 42 is pre-diabetes. Okay, so these are the figures, okay? But I think you will need to go to a lab, get the blood test. So get 2 blood tests, HbA1c and fasting blood test, okay? Once you've done the blood test, and if you're diabetes, then you have to start on some medication, look at your weight and lifestyle, okay? So this is how, so I would say it's not a death sentence having diabetes. There are millions of people in the world who have diabetes and then they are living well, okay? I can just give you some context. 1 in 11 people in the world, they have diabetes, okay? In 2021, 537 million people, approximately 1 in 11 people, world population has diabetes. In India, 77 million, which is the population of the UK population is around 70 million, has diabetes. Second most common after China. China has the world's largest population of diabetes. So I will say diabetes is not a hypertension, it's not a death sentence. But if you don't look after yourself, yes. So that's why I say important to exercise regularly, look into your diet, and then keep checking. Okay, get your blood test done. That's how you can monitor the diabetes and can reverse it if you're diagnosed, and be motivated.
What should working professional having a sitting job must do to prevent themselves from diabetes? जैसे आपने कहा था कि sedentary lifestyle की तरफ हम जैसे जाते हैं, chances increase होते हैं, तो हमें क्या करना चाहिए जिन लोगों का sitting job है, तो हम prevent कैसे करें?
So sitting job, so for them, like I have a sitting job, I do consulting whole day. So when I leave home 7:30, reach my office 8:30, 8:30 till 5:30, 6:30, I'm just sitting in my chair and desk and and consulting people. Few things we can do. One is join your exercise classes early morning, which I do with you 3 to 5 days in a week. Okay, that will be very helpful. Then I think calorie intake is very important. I think India, being an Indian, we have our calorie, our diet is quite big. Okay, so I think calorie count that is very important. So you need to check what you're eating. Okay, that's very important. Sensible eating, cut down sugar. Earlier days they were saying cholesterol, but I don't think cholesterol is the culprit. It's the sugar is the culprit. Okay, cut down sugar, exercise, and then while you're consulting also. I do set in my alarm that after 2 hours, then the alarm will tell me it's time to get up from the chair, move around. Okay, so if you work on first floor, instead of taking the lift, go take the stairs. Okay, small thing. If you have a car park, so don't park your car near your office. Maybe park a little bit away so that you can walk. Like a small thing will make a big gain. Okay, so I think for working people and who don't have a physical job, who have a sitting job, desk job, I think joining a routine, joining exercise classes will be very important. Sensible eating very important. Then in the evening, I do go for walks. That keeps me mentally well. Apart from physical well-being, 4-5 kilometer walks we do 3-4 times in a week. So I think these things are small thing goes a long way to keep yourself fit. And then the regular checking. I think every 6 months to a year having health check, basic health check, including sugar, will help to keep you aware. I think awareness is very important. A lot of people think, oh, I'm fine and there's nothing wrong with me. You check one day and you have high sugar, you're diabetic. So I think above the age of 40, I think you need to, because your metabolism goes down after, and you start settling in life and it becomes more sedentary. So you have settled in your career most of the time at the age of 40. So I think it's very important that you look after yourself.
So, sir, these days many pregnant women are also getting diabetes. So, what is the reason for that, and how can they prevent it?
So it's called gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is diabetes which develops during the pregnancy and then it will disappear after the birth of the child. So and it can happen any time during the pregnancy, but most common is second and the third trimester. Again, we don't know what causes it, what is the reason behind it, but there are few women who are at high risk of developing gestational diabetes. If your body BMI is more than 30, if you previously had diabetes, or if you previously had gestational diabetes, if your parents or siblings have diabetes, and if you are of South Asian, Black, African, or Middle Eastern origin. So these are the risk factors for you to develop gestational diabetes. So everyone here in UK, we offer them twice during the pregnancy. First time between 8 to 12 weeks, and second time between 28 to 32 weeks pregnancy. They are offered a screening test to check that they don't have diabetes.
तो बेसिकली बहुत ही अच्छा कॉन्वर्सेशन था. आपने बहुत सारे जो कॉमन लोगों के अंदर क्वेश्चंस आते हैं तो उनके मोस्ट ऑफ द आंसर्स आपने कवर किए हैं. थैंक यू वेरी मच डॉक्टर साहब.
Thanks for the invite, and we can do some more if you we can do a follow-up session. Thank you.